All right, Queen. So are you wondering if it's time to move on? Time to dump him? Are you wondering when you should stop dating someone? If that is you, then keep on watching. If you're wondering if a guy is a waste of time, keep on watching. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because quite some of my new clients and a lot of you ladies in the channel were mentioning that one of your obstacles to getting married this year, the biggest one you guys listed was that you don't like the men, like maybe your values are not aligned. You simply are dating men that you don't like. Okay. So, certainly, what I'm here to do is bring you solutions to these problems. Why? Because if we're not solving problems, we are just perpetuating the problem and being part of the problem. So how do you solve that when you don't like the men you date, when they're just not, adequate for you? Another thing that you guys mentioned was that, oh, they don't have good manners. They're not, attentive enough, that kind of thing. So solution is simple. The problem there really is that you're not dating enough men. Your roster, your rotation is too small. If you're dating 2, 3, 4 guys, you need to amp it up. You're like, oh, well, who has time for that? Well, which one is it? Is it a priority for you or not? Because this is the thing, like, a lot of people, like, view dating as something, like, really casual, like, something like, if it happens, it happens. And with anything in life, when you're like, yeah, if it happens, it happens. You're just kind of really passive about it. And let's not be confused. You being magnetic and things coming to you is different from you being passive about it and undecided. It's different. I'll explain that in a bit. But what I'm saying is, like, if you had this attitude of like, yeah, maybe, like, sure, kind of like so passive about it without deciding, without like being like, okay, this is happening, right? Because again, it would be a mistake if feminine energy is not balanced with some masculine energy there. And the masculine energy there is not only to be strategic, but to decide and do your part. Okay? Because without that, you're like, well, duh, right? You're just going to sit there waiting passively. So make sure you are pretty active on the apps, because if you don't believe in the apps and if you're not doing online dating, well, as I've said before, I hope you have a massive, ginormous network where you meet like thousands of men per day, which you obviously don't, right? Even in university, it's like it's not even necessarily the right place for that. But continuing with what I was saying, you're not dating enough men. You need to constantly have at least 10 plus men that are like looking to, go out with you. Yeah, when you're first having them, not all of them are quality. But if you're constantly having all this action, these multiple introductions, more chances that you find quality men. Because if you go at a rate of a couple per freaking month or year, well, I mean, I'll tell you that when I was 27, I was 26, 27, 26-ish. I was like, okay, I think it's time to date for marriage now. So it was like a priority, kind of like was being active about it. And if you wanted me to explain the difference between being magnetic versus being passive, here, I kind of said it already, which is like every manifestation, every thing that happens in your life, for the most, has a component of believing in it, not worrying about it, a component of if this one doesn't work out, there will be another one working out at some point, right? There's that, but there's also, for the most, I'm not saying in every single case, but majority of it involves some kind of aligned action, inspired action. Because action is your way of saying to the universe or whoever you want to call it, I believe that it's happening, therefore I am putting myself out there. I am doing my part. Yeah, because for example, if you stay in your house, locked forever, never going out, or if you never put yourself out there in the apps, same thing. You're just not doing your part. You're not, because being magnetic, it's more of your energy, more of your vibe. And it's a vibe that you can only have when you are detached. And you can only be detached if you're like, well, if this doesn't work out, I'm fine anyway. I'm fine, because sooner or later, the natural balance will be restored. What does that mean? Sooner or later, I'll meet someone that is great for me. You're not attached. You're not like obsessed with this one person. You're like nonchalant. Versus being passive, which is like kind of like procrastinating or hiding or not putting yourself out there. You get it? So, in these polls that I made this week here in the channel, I got a big vibe of like, kind of like if it happens, it happens. Like you're not having this vibe of like, go get it. Go get it doesn't mean that you're gonna go chase a man, that you're gonna go get obsessed with this one guy. Go get it means I've decided that this is happening for me. Right? I mean, if you're in your 20s, sure, go for that. Go for that attitude. No rush, I guess. But when you're in your 30s, the thing about that time frame is that time really flies. It's a time where one day you wake up and you're freaking 40. Really, it's a time, it's a decade where time literally flies because you're busy and this and this and that. So anyway, I think I went on a huge tangent in a way. Well, no, because it's all connected, right? Like if you're um if you're having the problem of that you don't like the men you date and you need to know when to dump them immediately. Like don't wait for a month or two, like that's way too long. You need to have constantly more men because the minute you see like this guy doesn't really have manners, This guy is not trying to impress me. This guy's like, kind of like you're not really sold. It's like, gotta phase them out like sooner rather than later. If they get 2 dates, sure, I might give you a second chance, but more than that, it's like, no. If you're lukewarm, if you're a guy that is too passive, too not enough good manners, what is it? No good manners, or like an attitude of trying to impress you. If they're too lukewarm or too passive, too freaking not plain, but like they're not enthusiastic enough, seeing them once or twice is plenty. Then move on. Next. And to move on next, you need to have a big rotation. So anyway, let me know in the comments if this resonates. Have you been really passive? Are you not prioritizing your dating life? Are you just kind of like hiding? Let me know in the comments if this is you. And I hope that whatever it is that you are desiring, you have this attitude of it's happening. I've decided, go get it. Go get it doesn't mean struggle, force, too much effort. No. Go get it means it's on. I'm all in. So anyway, yeah. Um, I'll talk to you guys later, okay? Bye now.